Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and today I have a special review of one of my favorite LEGO pirate sets ever. If you don't know what the Bricklink Designer Program is, it's a way for AFOLs to build their own custom mocks or my own creations and have them be produced as official LEGO sets through the Bricklink program. And this pirate set is one of those. Unfortunately, pre-orders for this are really hard to get. It only really goes up for a couple of days before selling out, but I was lucky enough to get my hands on a special pirate Treasure Island. And may I add, this is maybe one of the coolest LEGO Pirates playsets ever. I had such a blast putting it together, taking a look at all the figures, and of course, showcasing all of the different play features and different things you can find around the island itself. So join me as we set the sail. This is our mission, we cannot fail, and let's explore the Pirate Island. Alright, this is set number 910038, Ominous Isle. It retailed for $240 or 220 euros when it released last year and came with 2,809 pieces, which on paper is actually pretty good value. Sure, a lot of the pieces are pretty small detail elements, but honestly, this is a very fleshed out and large playset, and one thing that isn't really advertised from the images or the box is just how modular it is in the different ways you can reconfigure it, and we'll take a closer look at that throughout the review. It came with 6 minifigures, although most of them were pretty much just utilizing pre-existing minifigure components because that is pretty par for the course when it comes to the Bricklink Designer Program, but obviously the focus is on the Ominous Isle itself. Now to me, this is one of the best pirate-themed playsets we've ever gotten from LEGO. It is less of a display set, even though obviously it looks very good on display. It's not necessarily a fully enclosed space. There's an open back, there's a lot of different pathways where you can angle your figures, but it really is designed to be something that is playable to allow your minifigures to pass through it. I love the very unique shape of it. It isn't just kind of one single base plate and you build up the island from there. It really does feel like this is a much more organic structure where you have different areas of rocks and wooden planks rising up from the water, and all of them kind of integrated into the landscape itself. Moving on the path throughout this set, you can see you can take bridges all the way upwards to higher and higher levels. So you can take a bridge that goes all the way around here, go up the stairs, and then finally make your way up to some of the upper levels up here. There's even a spiral staircase for one of the lookout towers, stairs on this end to go up to the higher level here, and everything does make sense. There is a way for minifigures to traverse the entire set, which I always love when it comes to LEGO playsets, a logical way for minifigures to travel. The really interesting thing though is that all of these bridges are just connected via 1x1 studs, and because of that, the entire point of the set is that you can remove all of the bridge components and actually choose to change around the way that you actually have this laid out. So if you want to have the island be a bit more compact, or maybe have some of the lower levels transition to the higher levels, you can actually just choose to reallocate the bridges in all sorts of different ways just to allow you to make the layout feel drastically different. And that's something I really appreciate. As you can see, everything does come apart in 4 segments, so let's start with the main section right here. First and foremost, I absolutely love the design of the skull here. It's utilizing a little bit of studs in the side detailing for the teeth, but it's just done so nicely, and it really feels like one of the coolest skull builds we've ever gotten out of a LEGO pirate set. It kind of pays homage to older LEGO Pirates vintage sets, which obviously have this skull-like detail built into the island itself, and of course, you can twist a crank on the back to allow the gate to open and close. And yes, the rowboat does fit inside of there, so you can literally sail into the island itself. Here's a look at the rowboat going inside, so obviously you have it pull up to the entrance, the gate can open if the pirates are inside, and there's even a wooden plank that connects both sides of the inner island inside the cave itself that you can then choose to open up, which you can see right here. There's a gear you can twist to open up the plank here to allow the boat to sail all the way through. It almost feels like the beginning of like a Disney Pirates of the Caribbean ride or something like that, and I really love just how playable and alive this feels. Of course, you gotta lower the gate when you're done, and then we can move on to the rest of this island build. Obviously, the top of it has all sorts of different foliage scattered throughout, which just looks really good on display. I love the creeping vines, which are kind of isolated around. You can clearly see a path in which the creeping vines are curving around the rockwork itself, and again, since this was designed by an adult fan of LEGO, it feels like a little bit more advanced building techniques are being used here. As we move our focus to the interior of the cave, we get to one of my minor problems with a lot of the Bricklink Designer Program sets, and that is that they often have really cool detailed interiors, but a lot of pieces go into making them, and then they're really hard to access. Take, for instance, the treasure stash here. It looks really good, but it eats up so many parts in the set, and there's no real easy way to actually access or even remove any of the treasure. I think a standard LEGO set absolutely would not do something like that, where obviously they would try to make this space a lot more accessible, or, on the other hand, just simply not dedicate that many pieces to something that you're not really going to be able to see that well. Still, I do appreciate the dedication to detail. It's just what makes it feel more like a mock rather than a set, which isn't a bad thing. Thankfully, accessibility has kind of been accounted for with a ladder that goes up to the second level, but you can't really fit minifigures through that hole, so it's really just for looks. On the second level here, you have the captain's quarters. You've got a desk with a chair, as well as a sword on display and a bookcase, which looks pretty good, a nice railing so you have a bit of a balcony, and you even have a chandelier built into it, which is super cool. And up there, you can see a little bit of the mechanism to open the gate. One of my favorite parts aesthetically is this spiral staircase, which wraps around the watchtower here to allow you to actually have minifigures walk up. Again, it's very, very narrow, so for play purposes, it is a bit of a tight squeeze, but I really do appreciate how the thought aesthetically was to make it look like the minifigures could actually access that particular part of the tower. And altogether, I really do like how it's utilizing different angles, like the palm tree at a slightly different angle, to try and make it feel more organic. Moving on to one of these smaller loading dock areas here, you can literally dock into the set by having your rowboat pull up, and of course there is a cannon which can be fired as well, plus a skeleton in a prison cage where an unlucky prisoner has found their way into the island. Again, I really love these studs on the side detailing here. You've got some great rock work, you have parts mounted at different angles which just look really good, like even this barrel at an angle in the sand is a super simple detail, but one that just looks really good and makes it feel a lot more alive, so you're not just building completely studs up. Of course, you do have the option to rotate the cannon either way, which is very nice, and I feel like every pirate set has to have at least one cannon, so that was a nice addition to have. Even the dock itself feels like it's a little ramshackle with a diagonal boat here. You can have the boat dock in right there, and there's even a seagull to kind of shoo away as you enter the island itself. This other build here is a bit of a taller rock structure, but again, it is packed full of really cool details. You have a hidden treasure chest on the inside of a cave there. The only thing I'm not the biggest fan of is like there's a little bit of multicolored pieces that are a little visible on the side. I may have actually built it slightly incorrectly now that I'm looking at that, because that does not seem right to me, but I do like that it does have an animal skeleton there that does look really, really cool, and you have these creeping vines just wrapped all around the side of it, which just, again, add a lot to the aesthetic. The spiral staircase here is built a little bit differently, where it's utilizing studs on the side techniques which just look really good, and then of course you just have one smaller island component here, which again, despite being small, is packed full of detail with an anchor mounted on a mixel joint or mini ball joint, and then you have a staircase leading upwards as well. It's definitely the most simple of all the components, but I really like how it just fits in with all of the different little modules around the set. There's a small side build for a palm tree and just a little bit of patch of water, which I think is nice, but definitely just not necessarily anything that was really needed, because that doesn't really connect to the build at all. But I do like having a little bit of extra pieces to flesh out the scenery. Now, moving onwards to how this all comes together, once again, you can slide all of these island components all in one, so you can really just choose how you want to actually build up the different island components. I really like how it just gives you so many different options for actually putting this together. You can see that obviously there's different levels of things, and you have multiple flexible bridges, so you can kind of choose to connect things up one way or the other. Like for instance, you could put this component right here and have a bridge that connects the upper layers like so, which is not how you have it configured in the standard way, but again, the whole point is to play around with it. Then you can take this smaller section right here, take another one of the bridges at the same level and connect up these two. And then you have more of a linear path, which actually allows you to go from point A to point B, as opposed to the original layout, which kind of has things be more in a modular component where every section is kind of connected to the other. Here it feels like almost like you're traversing a path. You're docking in, then you're going up the stairs here, going along the bridges, up another set of stairs, and then going up, and it feels like a long continuous pathway, almost like you're playing like a pirate-themed D&D campaign or something like that, which I think is really cool, and just another fun way to configure this set. Of course, we can then reset the build and reconfigure it the way that we want, and that is one of my favorite parts of the set. Each of these island components is something that actually fits in together with each other, which is so cool. I'm a big fan of how they were able to pull this one off, and again, I wish more LEGO sets did stuff like this, where the set is modular with itself. This honestly makes me yearn for a traditional LEGO Pirates theme. Imagine getting something like this as a LEGO Pirates play theme, except you could actually have your own individual islands be sold as separate sets. I think that would have been so cool to get as an actual build and play theme, and I really wish that we would get LEGO Pirates as a full-on play theme, especially after seeing something like this and just how good this is. Let me know in the comments if you would love to see a return of LEGO Pirates as well, because honestly, I feel like this has totally whet my appetite for original LEGO Pirates sets, and I really wish we could get more stuff like it. Although I guess LEGO One Piece is kinda fulfilling that role. Moving onwards though, we can take a look at the overview of the set and talk a little bit about value. I always have mixed feelings on the Bricklink Designer Program sets because they are so hard to get. If you're not die-hard locked in on the day that these sets go on sale, they literally sell out on the same day of going on sale. And that's why that while of course this is actually a pretty good value for a Bricklink Designer Program set at $240, I definitely feel like nowadays if you want to get a copy, it's going to cost you around $300 some to pick up, which is still, I guess, around the realm of reasonability. It comes with 2,809 pieces after all, but I actually do feel like the original price of $240 was genuinely a really good deal, and I really wish that it was a lot easier for people to be able to pick these up rather than just having to be plugged in, refreshing lego.com the day they go on sale, otherwise you're basically going to be missing out. Obviously this is more commentary on the way that Bricklink Designer Program works in general, and I actually do like that LEGO fan ideas have this avenue to get made into sets. I think it is a really cool idea. I just wish they were even more accessible than they already are. I do want to close out here by taking a quick look at the minifigures, and again, there isn't really that much to say. All of them technically do have names, which is pretty cool. They are mentioned in the instruction manuals having names, which is a really nice touch. For instance, you have Pirate Captain Mutton Chops, who is the main captain of the set, which is a very funny detail. But again, they're just using pre-existing LEGO components, although I will say, for LEGO Pirates not being an existing theme right now, I think they actually were able to make pretty good advantage of existing LEGO torsos. Like for instance, the singer at the Modular Jazz Club actually works really well for the torso of a pirate captain. And so I really do like the minifigures for what they are, but it would have been cool to get even more minifigures just made for these sets. And that's the one thing I also hope that as the Bricklink Designer Program expands, it'd be great to get custom minifigures made for them. That's pretty much all I have to say about the set. Again, $240 seems like decent value to me, and I'm really curious in the comments, were you lucky enough to be able to pick this set up when it released? Are you looking to get it on the aftermarket, or has this video maybe convinced you to try and get a copy of your own? That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Bye for now.